It is funny to watch VCs try to get on TikTok. It is, it's painfully funny.
Hi everyone, I'm Diana Ransom, Executive Editor at Inc.
My name is Ankur Jain. I am the CEO of the Kairos Group and have had a chance to buy and sell and build a bunch of different companies over my career, and most recently ran product for Tinder.
We're going to be looking at some of the best and worst advice that the internet has to offer on finding investors and working with them. First up.
Wow, you're a venture capitalist.
A lot of startups where they screw up is they go out, they try to raise a ton of money, they overestimate what they actually need. That's where we make all of our money, is we find guys like that, we show them what they actually need, and then we become their only partner.
So you don't join a cap table, you're the only investor.
Correct, yeah, never do that.
Wow. And what's the biggest reason for that?
Those people, they are obsessed with raising money and not actually making money. And so a lot of startups nowadays, that's all they care about is raising money. They don't actually care about making money. And they get caught up in finding the next big thing to raise money for, and the investors never get paid. So I care about making money.
Would you take money from Frat Bro 1 or 2 in that video?
Right. Well, actually, it was funny to me. My takeaway from that was that they just sounded like they were describing a Ponzi scheme.
A lot of venture is like a Ponzi scheme, and that's the biggest thing. These VCs aren't actually really being rewarded on the success of your individual company. Their job is to get markups, meaning can they pump up your numbers like a Ponzi scheme in growth to get another VC to mark you at a higher rate, and then they go back to their investors and raise money at a higher amount because they said, look at my gains on paper, and by the time anybody is actually sold in 8 to 10 years, they've already collected 10 years of management fees. This is the problem. And so
So they're not even out for the exit?
They're baking into their model that most of the companies will fail. All right, let's get a fun one.
I just invested in a new startup. And these are the 3 reasons that I invest in a company. Do I like the founders? And do the founders like me?
Pretty funny that investors are now getting out there, putting videos saying, can I please give you $100,000? When you realize they need you as much or more than you need them for capital, the whole dynamic shifts and investors can smell it.
Second, and in my view, one of the most important elements, does the business think purpose over profit? Is it more important to the owners of this business to look after their users and to give them value than to make money? And third, and something I always want to instill and ensure, if I'm going to put money into a business, will I be able to add value?
I like that he just seems like he has his priorities and he's letting you know his priorities. Like, you have to be a purpose-driven company over profit. That's something in your search you really need to think about. Is this investor going to value what I value?
When you think about raising money, it's sometimes easy to forget that you're giving up part of your company. Raising money is like dating, right? It's like if you come out there and you're too desperate, people can smell it, right? But when you come out and you say, this is what I'm looking for, you know what you want, that confidence is half, it's 80% of raising money. Your friend might have 15 reasons for why they may or may not think this is the right person to go on a date with, and the minute they hear that they went on a date with someone else, I should probably respond, right? I think that's the game you're playing.
One Reddit user has questions about how to find investors, and another had a response. It takes 1 full month to make a great pitch deck, with all the iteration and feedback loops needed to make it really great. Number 2, I only contact investors I can find warm intros to. The same people who gave feedback on your deck can introduce you to investors.
This is great advice if you're lucky enough to be one of the entrepreneurs that's super well connected and can just go directly to partners at a given fund and find people who have raised $100 million before. I mean, the challenge is when you're starting a new company people haven't yet heard of, they don't know what to listen to and take seriously or not. And so when you're a cold email, they don't know whether it's real or it's just some troll writing up something there. So if you can get a warm intro, it immediately adds the trust.
So if you get a warm intro from an associate and then the associate puts you in touch with the partner?
That's the right way to do it.
Number 3, only get intros to angels who invest their own money or partners of a fund. Don't talk to associates. An associate is not going to be as good as getting you invested as a partner will. But what they're saying is that if you end up with the associate, you're doing yourself a disservice because that's the person who's going to handhold you throughout the whole process.
No, that's not how it works. An associate, once they vet you and they feel like there's a fit as much as you feel like there's a fit, they'll bring in a partner to own the deal, and that partner will then move it through the process.
Lastly, with the above, getting 10 to 15 meetings will get you at least one investor, from start to end with money in the bank in 6 months. Guaranteed, every single time. It takes a lot of time. 6 months is not a lot of time. I mean, 15 meetings and you get an investment guaranteed.
6 months is a long time in startup world. 6 months is like a lifetime in startup world.
Okay. You know, you hear these stories all the time from startups that end up, you know, I took 100 meetings with venture capitalists and I didn't end up with any money.
There's enough money out there that if you pitch enough people, you will raise money. But if you're looking for the right money, because remember, you're in the driver's seat, then you should take some of that feedback and figure out what part of your story isn't resonating.
Can you ask for feedback?
You should always.
Yeah.
VCs are notoriously bad because they want optionality. One of the things that drives me nuts most is VCs rarely tell you no, because they never know if you're gonna be the one person who then breaks out and they don't wanna burn the bridge. Associates often will give you some of that honest feedback. If you can build that personal relationship and ask them, you might actually get some useful feedback.
Where do we have next?
Ross Loma Capital.
Should I keep doing it? Should I keep negging?
No, I'll handle this. If they want to negotiate using hostility and rudeness, well, they picked the wrong guy.
Okay, here's my concern. Here's my concern. Who the hell picked out that shirt for you?
What?
No, this is all wrong. I am sensing a general lack of vision. Your muffins smell like shit. So do your ideas.
Okay, does that work?
No, I mean, please never be a dick when going into a pitch meeting.
Back when you were raising your first funding ever, you did not have confidence. You must not have. It's
It was
tough.
scary. I mean, I took every dollar I could, and that's the mistake I learned. I would walk out of a meeting as a founder worrying about if they hated me, did I say something dumb, did that deck slide make sense, over-evaluating everything. And on the other side, they were just like, well, let's just hold and see if anybody else bites. If you remember way back, I think when you and I first met, like, I was running a company called Human, and I thought it was like the stamp of success to raise money from big Silicon Valley companies. In every meeting, we would ask, so how do we build our revenue model? And the answer was, don't worry about making money, grow your users, grow your users, grow your users. For us, that put us in a really difficult position where a year and a half later, we hadn't built our business model. We hadn't figured out how to drive revenue. And when the market changed, nobody cared about us anymore, right? And we were left holding the bag trying to figure it out. Who you take money from is the most important question.
Nana! Hi!
Michael! People turn to their families all the time when they need help starting out. And if my Nana's Investment Club can help the Michael Scott Paper Company become a reality, then I'm sure that's what she would have wanted. Does want.
How do you expect to turn a profit in this economy?
By wanting it more?
Michael, I don't know about this.
Nana, I really think that Papa would want you to do this.
I'm not so sure.
Well, what is it exactly? I mean, what specifically? It doesn't have to be paper. We could sell medicine.
I love you, Michael. I do.
Okay.
But no. I mean it, no.
She should take Mr. Wonderful's spot on Shark Tank.
Oh, she's tough. But I'm with Nana. What did he really offer other than to say, I'm gonna, undervalue my product?
Michael Scott had zero conviction in what he was actually building, right? And I think as funny as the parody of the show was, people often try to build what they think investors want, right? And that's just a trap too many people fall into. I think the answer is know what you're building, know what the problem you're solving is, and why you think you're the best, and stick to it.
I think my biggest thing with family members is, you have to be careful because you don't want to burn a bridge with a loved one.
You know what? The people who don't invest professionally can also be the most difficult because they're not prepared to understand the ups and downs you're going to go through.
Right, can you imagine Thanksgiving dinner?
Oh my gosh, the stress. This was not hard enough.
Ankur, why don't you share with us your biggest takeaway from the day?
I think at the end of the day, when you're looking to raise money, just remember that your need to raise capital is no more than that venture capitals and investors need to find a company to put that money into. Because when you realize that you don't need that one investor, your just mindset changes. You start thinking about who the right fit is, how to pitch your business in the right way, not just what they want to hear. And you'll find the right capital because they can smell that you are building something with conviction that other people also believe in.
And let's not burn bridges with Nana.
Yeah, that too.